Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster run with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Nightstalker Deadfall. Here are the frags and mods I'll be using this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using a stasis sidearm with shield clip. Next, I'll be using the grenade launcher baton. For my heavy, I'll be using Leviathan's breath. For my exotic, I'll be using 6 Coyote. Yes, 6 Coyote. I haven't used this exotic for a long time. Alright, before I say anything, quickly take down this Scorn Overload Champion. Make sure you take down the Scorn Champion or he is going to back away and join with the taken enemies and then harass you and then just ruin your platinum run. Once you take down the Scorn Champion, then you sparrow your way or run to the mini boss Ogre. You must take down the Scorn Overload Champion and the Ogre boss very quickly before the other two Overload champions spawn. So you can get platinum by skipping 3 Overload champions in this area. Why? Honestly, because Bungie added more additional champions, that's 1. 2, they did a lot of changes with the Corrupted Nightfall. It's so bad and it has so many changes to the point where now most of the champions that Bungie added had to remove and then add again, remove and add again. I'll let you know what I mean for the other areas that I'm talking about. Now they're in this area where you see right now. There used to be a bunch of enemies, but because of the old version was so buggy and corrupted, right? Because this Nightfall is corrupted, they decided to remove all the enemies for this area, and then now all characters can just make their way to the elevator room. Now the elevator room, once again, I know, right? They did a lot of changes in this elevator room because of the bugs, and it was difficult and very glitchy. They had to reduce the blights rotation at the middle of the elevator room. They had to replace the enemies into stasis instead of all blights. It was just a lot of changes. So now for the elevator room, I am going to be picking up the relic or the orb, and then I'm going to break the shield. Now I am using the Nightstalker Hunter. I am using 6 Coyote because of the modifier, where when you use your class ability, you do increase damage and for your fire team, but we're on solo, and you reduce incoming damage. So that is why I'm using 6 Coyote, because I want to spam the dodge. Another thing I like to talk about is I am using Transcendent Blessing. No, not Transcendence. Transcendent Blessing that you can get from the Dreaming City. So I am getting extra 5% on my super, my grenades, pretty much any weapons, any DPS or damage I'm using for bosses or enemies. Not only that, the Transcending Blessing is 5 extra %. And you can actually break the shield more efficiently when using Transcendent Blessing. I have tested this out on my old video where I put 5 Transcendent Blessing and I can break the shield with the relic, the orb, one shot, and for the boss, almost one shot as well. But for this season, I have not tested out because I ran out of Transcendent Blessing. I need to farm for next time when we do get corrupted. So this is the mini second phase. So they replace the enemies with the stasis mini bosses. You must take down all the scions because the scions are like bunnies and they like to multiply just like bunnies. Make sure you take down all the enemies and then take down or break the shield with the orb or the relic, and then do DPS. I am using Leviathan's breath I wanted to try out for this GM. I didn't think it was gonna work, but I was surprised that it worked out for this GM run. So I'm trying to make my way to pick up the relic and break the shield. We got a Fireball no Jutsu or Meteor Bang. If I was using Prismatic, I would just spam my abilities and Transcendence to get rid of this mini boss. But they're in the second elevator room, it's not really so bad. They did a lot of nerfs to make this elevator easier because the old version Corrupted, it was even difficult to pick up the relic. To the point where you get one shot from the Blight's rotation at the middle of the map, you can see there. They had to reduce the Blights so it'll be easier to pick up the orb relics for the old Corrupted version. And they had to replace the mini bosses into stasis because during the second phase, I remember there was a bunch of Blight mini bosses to the point where you had to keep shooting the Blight, the tracking Blight balls or the orbs, and you had to at the same time do DPS at the boss. Let's just pretend if I was on a Titan or on a Warlock or non-invis Hunter, I would pretty much have to multitask for the old version. Now the new version's way more easier, if I have to be super honest. It isn't that bad. You can use the crystals you can see here to manipulate the boss or the mini boss. So we're gonna go for the next area. There is an unstoppable champion up ahead. Make sure you use your heavy. I am using Leviathan's Breath. Leviathan's Breath has the unstoppable mod where you can stagger the champion. So right now the boss is just pulling back because I turned invisible. I'm gonna pull back and see if I can use Leviathan's Breath again. Or I could just maybe have it finisher mode so I can go and use finisher, because once you take down the unstoppable champion, the two arc knights from left and right are gonna back away. You can see right here that they back away because their unstoppable champion, their bodyguard, got taken down. There's gonna be a Shrieker up ahead, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the sidearm, the stasis sidearm with shield clip and air trigger, and we are going to take him down. Usually when I stand in this area, he doesn't attack. It is RNG of his behavior. Sometimes if I stand here, he opens his eyes, right? The boss, the mini boss, and then he doesn't shoot orbs at you. So unfortunately I didn't have that luck for this run, which is surprisingly because I usually have the Shrieker not attack me. Alright, so we're gonna take down the Arc Knights. I'm using the stasis sidearm. Hopefully he could be frozen or slowed down so we can use our finisher. And yes, I am using the Ballerina Twirl or the Dawning finisher if anyone's curious. There's going to be around 3 or 4 Shriekers and the Unstoppable Champion. There are actually 2 of them. So my plan, since I'm on Invis, is I am going to take down 2 of these champions. 2 champions. Then I'm going to turn invisible and then just go to the next area. Because I don't want to really waste time of taking down the Shriekers or the Arc Knights and the Bangs. Because now, this season, this entire mini episodes, they added these Bangs. and now it's a little different. So this season is another change for Corrupted. They added Banes, RNG Banes, and I despise them. I really hate them, especially for liminality. I don't really enjoy them at all. And the worst part is they're gonna add more Banes. I mean, if you guys think this is bad, just wait till we have to deal with a nuclear bang, and an unpunchable bang, and an aggressive bang, making all the enemies come towards you bang. This Unstoppable Champion's acting very weird, but hopefully he will push so I can do DPS, use Leviathan's Breath, but unfortunately I didn't have any heavy. So that's one bad thing about using Leviathan's Breath. You have the control of your ammo when using Leviathan's Breath. I didn't really control what ammo I was using for the heavy, but you could, I mean, if you want to, you could go for double primary and you can get a bunch of heavy. I know it's crazy. Using double primary is probably the worst thing ever, but the only good thing about using double primary for GMs is you can get a bunch of heavy, a lot of heavy when using double primary. Let's just pretend I'm using kinetic tremors with a scout rifle or a pulse rifle, and then I can use a scout rifle barrier, for example. Alright, so now I'm gonna turn invisible. I'm gonna ignore the bang. I'm not gonna bother myself trying to do DPS because the bangs have a lot of health. They're a bit more tanky. So this is gonna be the area where we're gonna be dealing with champions. We're gonna teleport to the Shadow Throne room. But honestly, I cannot bother myself of switching back and forth. So I am going to control the castaway. I'm gonna crouch, hug the rail stairs, and then I'm just gonna hang around here and just do DPS. Now, if I wanted to do if I want to do a more quicker, efficient run, I could use a better exotic, and of course maybe a sniper to take down the boss, and then to take down the Unstoppable Champion. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just make sure I stagger the Unstoppable Champion. I have to hug the wall and crouch at the same time. You can also do this method on other walls, but honestly I would just prefer the stairway. It's the safest for me because there is a swarm of ads in the area. They are hiding, by the way, and then once they see you, they start shooting arc and then throwing fire. So now I am going to be going to the other room. I didn't mean to go to the taken room. You know, sometimes if I get too close near at the top of the stairway, I teleport back. I want to make sure I take down the ogre. So then I'm just trying to carefully go and use my sidearm to do DPS because I just can't bother myself of going back and forth. It is a chore, and trust me, I know they did changes for Corrupted, but the old Corrupted version, they had Unstoppable, and they had Overload Champions. They had around 2 Overload Champions, and then the extra Overload Champion at the Shadow room, or the Taken room. And it was so bad that the only way to have the Overload Champion to spawn was you had to have the Hive Ogre have health. And then when you teleport to the castaway or the Taken room, then the third Overload Champion appears. But like I said, they did a lot of changes. They're replacing now bangs, but now there's just only 2 Unstoppable Champions. Now they try to do this method where when you do DPS half health at the Hive, you get an additional Unstoppable Champion. But because it was just complicated of getting Platinum for Corrupted, they decided to remove the third Unstoppable Champion. So now for this GM, it is just 2 unstoppable champions, which is great because it was just so confusing, especially the old version. I remember I had trouble dealing with overload champions that time, and you had to take them down quickly. It wasn't like, okay, I do a little tag. No, you had to take them down very quickly. It was a nuisance to the point where that time people had to use anarchy, and that time no one had anarchy. People were using Wildehor, if I remember, and it was just so complicated, extremely frustrating. Not only that, people had to use raid taken mods as well to take down the overload champions that time. I know I'm talking about the old version, but I feel like more players, there's a lot of new players that don't know about the old version of Corrupted. And I thought it'd be nice for me to share my experience that time. But anyway, you're gonna let the unstoppable champions just push you? I mean, yes, you could go to the stairway from the left side to do more efficient run, you know, to speed it up, but I have the patience a bit. I'm gonna wait for the 2 unstoppable champions, and then once you take down the champions, you can use your super, and then you can take down the ogre. Just be aware of the banes, and be aware of the taken enemies or the taken captains that like to shoot fire at you. So make sure you use Leviathan's breath. Don't use too much, because on this footage I used too much of Leviathan's breath. I should have just used the sidearm with the grenade launcher. That was one thing I should have done for this run. I shouldn't waste too much of the Leviathan's breath. I just use it because I just want to get it done and over it. I didn't want to hang around too much at this room. So once we take down the ogre, I'm gonna go quickly to the next area. Usually if I'm on Warlock or Titan, I just go to the left side, to the far right side, and then just make my way to the portal, or I can go to the left side, take down a bit of these shriekers, and then go to the portal. So once we go to this area, we could take down the champions. And one thing I like to mention is always take down the Hive Ogre. Do not take down the Taken Ogre. If you take down the Taken Ogre and then take down the Hive Ogre last, the ads from this room will not despawn. They're all gonna go jump on you. They're all gonna jump on you. They're all going to annihilate you. So not only have to waste time taking down the Hive enemies, you also have to deal with the unstoppable champions you see right here. And it's a waste of time, so that's why it's best to take down the Hive Ogre first and then take down the Taken Ogre or the Shadow Throne Ogre. But anyway, that's my honest opinion. So if anyone's saying you need to take down this ogre, no. I mean, if you do want all these ads to despawn and make it easier, highly recommend to take down the Hive Ogre first, and then you can take down the Taken Ogre. But anyway, we are going to take down the unstoppable champions. Sometimes you like to glitch through the wall. Really annoying. Like right now, he decided to just stay in this little spot. Just be aware that he can hurt you with his shield if you get too close to him, and his solar attack too. You can see I'm on red health. Hopefully he'll cooperate. I want to have him on his finisher so I can use finisher on the champion. Anyway, I think I took him down. I mean, he's somewhere or I took him down and the game didn't say I took him down. There he is. He's just glitching. I told you, Corrupted is very glitchy. They had to do a lot of changes. Even to this day, it's still a little glitchy. Because now they added Banes, RNG Banes for this Nightfall. And like I said, I don't like the Banes. So during this area on the old corrupted version, there was a bunch of snipers that can one-shot you. Now they replaced them with stasis. So now the snipers from the left and right are completely harmless as a fly. And another thing I noticed is, since they added these bangs, this bang right here, he is supposed to be a overload champion. So now they added another overload champion. They replaced the overload champion with another captain or something. I'm not sure. But usually when I stand there, an overload champion pushes. And for some reason, the overload champion from far right side is not pushing towards the stairs. He's just hanging around with this other mini boss. That was one thing I was a little annoyed, because when I was doing this run, probably maybe 5 attempts, or 8, I'm not sure, the overload champion from the far left side was not pushing, and he usually does, and it's just very bizarre. I always see the bang pushing instead of the overload champion. So make sure you take down the 2 unstoppable champion. And I was just browsing, just double checking, you know, how many champions are in this area, and it looked like there was 2 of them, because one of them didn't go up the stairs. So now I'm gonna go take down the overload champion from the left side. Then I'm gonna go to the right side. I never really take down a champion at the right side. Usually he just walks up to me. But you know, this corrupted is a little different than the other version. A little bit. Not like different as in 80% different. I would say with the bangs, now it's probably maybe 10% different. And because they're gonna add more bangs for next season, and if we do have corrupted again or another maybe next year, it's probably gonna be 10% additional, 10% more different, because they're gonna add more bangs. Because there'll be new ones, 3 new ones if I remember. And I think the third one, right now thinking about it, the third one's called the Berserk. There was the nuclear bang, the Berserk, and the Unpunchable. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just letting everyone know. Especially the Unpunchable and the nuclear bang. And once I take down the last remaining overload champion, you can skip this guy. I mean, he's not a champion, it's just a extra mini boss. There's really no point of taking him down unless you want to get points, but I don't really care too much about points for this GM, not really. So you could just move forward and just make your way to the next area. Now everyone's different. Sometimes I like to not go on top of the rock, and sometimes I do. Like for this video, I go on a rock and then I just go to the teleportation. Sometimes I ignore the rock or it doesn't appear, and you could just go to this next area. So there is going to be another overload champion. I'm going to try to bait the overload champion to go to the death pit, or so I don't have to waste time of doing DPS. So you can see I forgot that I can manipulate the overload champion. So I am going to try my best to see if I can make this overload champion to jump off the platform. So I didn't mean to stagger it. Usually you don't stagger the overload champion, but I got lucky here. The overload champion should move. So there you go. Perfect. So finally I did make the overload champion to cooperate with me. So make sure you tag the overload champion. If you don't tag it, then it's not going to count as defeated champions, and then you won't get platinum rank. Unless you don't really care about platinum rank. If you don't care about it, it's okay. Then you could just skip all this with invis and then just make your way to the boss fight. For players who don't care about platinum rank. which is okay. Be careful of the mines. Sometimes I get glitches where I get one-shot by the mines. Sometimes, not all the time, but it happened to me in other GMs. So I'm not going to turn invisible. I'm going to go to the back. All the way from the back to do DPS and to take down the remaining champions for this area. Because we're going to have more champions at the boss fight. It's great, right? Perfect. What a great day. So there is a couple of snipers. There is no solo search or solo threat. Because there's no solo threat, the snipers aren't going to be that dangerous, or they're not going to one-shot you. So you don't need to worry about them. And yes, there is a mine bang. So be aware of the snipers and the bang up ahead. For some reason, that is so bizarre. Yeah, it is a sniper bang. So that's new. And all these mines, they're really annoying, especially if you're wearing headphones. They make this noise and it goes dit, 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 dit. Very, and it hurts my ears because I put the sound up to 10 so I can hear the footsteps of the boss or hear it growling, I guess, for this GM, and hear the Suffolk champion and all those goody stuff. So we are gonna make it to the boss fight. Now, like I said, the boss fight isn't so bad because now you have an additional platform to deal with the enemies for this GM. And for this GM, it isn't so bad. Like the old GM version, I remember this platform right here. You couldn't stand on this platform on the old Corrupted. And I remember on the old Corrupted, I had to stand in this area, not the one right now where I am. And I had to clear the ads as fast as I can with the machine gun, with Will the Horde. That's basically from what I remember when I was doing this GM on the old version. And now we're gonna have a bunch of ads. So I did tether, so that's another reason why I wanted to tether. Is just to take down the enemies from far distance. And the good thing about this is when you take them down, they don't have this weird blight when they get taken down. On the other version, I would say the other Corrupted, when you take them down, they have this weird portal blight when they die. And it pushes the special and heavy bricks. And because of the new changes of the GM, now they don't have it. They have this Warframe, they have this new modifier with the dodge, increases damage and reduce incoming damage. So when you're going to throw the relic, it is 3 orbs. So I'm going to throw the relic and use Leviathan's Breath. I am so happy that they fixed the bug with the boss's arc attack. That was one thing I didn't like about Corrupted, the old version. If you stand too still, there is a bug where the boss one-shots you. I think they fixed it. Cause I haven't had those issues for a long time. And finally they fixed the issue of getting one-shot by the arc blast from the boss. So you don't have to worry about standing still too long. Because I remember on the old version, I had to move around. I couldn't stand still too much because it was going to one-shot me. Like here, you can see that the boss was shooting me. See, on the old version, it one-shot, that's it, done, back to orbit. But I feel like Bungie finally fixed the issue with that weird bug. 'Cause everyone was complaining. Not just me, but a lot of players who do solo GMs. They complain about it, so it's not me. Alright, so there is a taken night. I think later on I did lose my patience. I just decided to push and then just take them down from the other area. And the reason why I did this because the boss is not really a threat so much since the arc blast is not gonna one-shot me. And they also nerfed the push of the boss. And they also nerfed its scream. So on the old corrupted version, the boss likes to scream a lot. It goes, eek, eek, you know, non-stop. She just won't shut her mouth, or she just won't stop screaming. Alright, and when she does that, that means she's gonna push her off the map. And there was a buff that they nerfed where the boss's push was so OP. It was so bad at the old version that I was getting pushed off the map, and I clipped through a rock, and then I just get sent back to orbit. So they nerfed it, and then they kept the boss quiet because she doesn't scream anymore. I swear to the Bungie, I'm not joking or over exaggerating. I mean, I think I do have an old corrupted video somewhere, and you'll see that the boss just keeps screaming and screaming and screaming. It's so ridiculous. And then the worst part is the second phase. The second phase, she just screams all the time. It's so scary. You have to go merry-go-death with the boss. And then you have to make sure the boss doesn't one-shot you with his push. Because not only she pushes you, she puts you on red health. That was the old version, by the way. So now we're gonna go pick up the relic. We threw 2 relics, or 2 orbs. There's gonna be moving rocks. So I'm waiting for these rocks to just pass through so I can go and just do DPS the boss. Make sure you do DPS at the boss. The weakness of the boss is precision shots. So that means golden gun, linear fusion rifle, or Leviathan's breath. So make sure you use precision shots. That is the weakness for the boss. It's a weird bug that's been for years, by the way. They didn't fix it. So now we're gonna do precision shots. You'll see what I mean. I mean, look how much damage I'm doing for precision shots. Look at that. I mean, there's proof there. There's proof there that the precision still didn't get fixed, which is good. I have nothing to complain about, to be honest. I mean, that just makes life easier for me. So now we're going to go deal with the corrupted enemies. Right now, there is an upload champion. I'm going to try to use my super. I might as well use my super because the boss is shooting arc at me, and I just want to get the overload champion defeated. So once we take down the overload champion, take down the knight. So I'm gonna go use my grenade launcher, use my stasis. You know, I'm really happy there's no solar threat, because if it was solar threat, then this knight would have sent me back to orbit. Another good thing you can do, which I didn't really do so much for this video, is you can turn invisible and pass the boss, and then the boss is gonna teleport to the next area. I didn't really do it so much. I was a little lazy on it. I really didn't feel like turning invisible and then just passing her so she can move to the other area. I did use that method on the old corrupted version because she was a nuisance and she was one-shotting me with the arc blast, so I did use that. But you can notice that she doesn't really... her arc blast isn't that of a threat as before. So to make her go to the next area, you can either turn invisible and pass her, or you have to take down all the enemies that are around her. That's pretty much what you have to do. Same thing with this area. You have to take down all the enemies except the unstoppable champion for the boss to teleport to the second phase room. The unstoppable champion doesn't count. I'm not sure why. I'm trying to remember if it happened in the old version. I think in the old version, I don't remember. I think you had to take down the unstoppable champion for the boss to teleport. I think. I could be wrong. I don't remember 100%. But for this version, you can take down the snipers and then the boss will teleport. The unstoppable champion doesn't count. You can also go behind a rock to take down the unstoppable champion. I'm not sure why I didn't go to the rock from the right side, but it's just additional if you want to take down a Nightstalker champion quickly. Like this rock over here, usually you can go to this rock and then take him down. And for some reason, Nightstalker champion was just being very awkward right now. Alright, so I'm going to use finisher and then we're going to go to the next area. Yes, the second phase. This is going to be great. So fun. Right now, I'm just going to wait for the rocks. Alright, come on rocks. I ain't got all day. I just want to get this run done and over it. Thank you. I'm gonna go and push and then go back to this rock right here where I am. Right here where I am, I'm gonna go and push. I keep forgetting that you need to spawn these scions, and to spawn them is you have to go to the next platform and then turn back. So once I turn back, then these scions are gonna spawn. I want to take down these scions. Then I'm gonna pick up the orb and then do DPS at the boss. Alright, so we do have a couple of scions. Make sure you take them down. Because these scions, they duplicate, they turn into bunnies. I used to call them the taken bunnies or the scion bunnies. I mean, it is a good nickname. I mean, they do multiply a lot. Not gonna lie, you know. Alright, so once we take down these scion bunnies, or taken scions, we're gonna go pick up the orb. So it's gonna take around three hits. See, the old version, if I remember, it was around 5. You had to throw 5 times to the boss, around 5 to 6 times. But you can see the boss is nerfed. She doesn't really scream a lot because usually she just likes to push you non-stop on the old version, and she just screams so much. She goes whoa, 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 like that. But really despise this boss. I remember she was just a nuisance. She was just a very annoying boss fight. Alright, I'm gonna pick up the next orb and then do DPS with Leviathan's breath. I'm just trying to regain my health here. Alright, I'm gonna go behind this wall. And then I'm gonna break the shield and then do some DPS. So also another thing I like to mention is when you do break the shield, we're also gonna deal with these solar knights. So make sure you take down these solar knights. And I didn't know that they were gonna be banged, so that caught me by surprise. So make sure you save your super to deal with the bang and with the art captains. So that's something that I did not know. So they added the taken knights are now bangs, and that is kind of annoying. I don't really like that at all. You know, the only reason why I got this, you know, I made it look so easy is because I used my super and I knew where they were going to spawn. See, if I was new to this game and I had no idea where they're gonna spawn or where they're going to walk towards me, then I would have been sent back to orbit. We're gonna go and grab the orb and then break the shield. But you can see here that the boss's ability where she screams, tries to push you, they nerfed it. That's good that they nerfed it. You know, it's good for new players, you know, to have a good experience of dealing with the boss. Because honestly, if we went back to the old version, I don't think a lot of new players will want to even touch this game or touch this GM at all. I mean, already there is a lot of players that don't even want to touch liminality, for example. I mean, think about it. If players think liminality is difficult, imagine Hollow Layer and the old corrupted version. Alright, so I'm gonna be doing DPS at the boss, and I forgot that I ran out of Leviathan's Breath. The DPS wasn't the cleanest, if I have to be honest, so I'm sorry that the DPS wasn't the cleanest. You know, I should have quickly switched to my sidearm to take down the boss, because on the old version I would have probably get pushed off the map, honestly. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.